Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you have any other significant Pisces placements, there may be a message in here for you. So Pisces, I'm getting a really interesting download for this reading today. I feel like this may be about you, but I feel more strongly that it's about somebody that you're connected to. That's like a very strong relationship, whatever this relationship is for you. Any kind of like Six of Cups, soulmate kind of energy is how it's coming through. So it'd be up to you to decide or discern who this might be about, whether it's you or another person that you're connected to. But anyways, I'm getting this very strong message of like a Stockholm syndrome is how it is coming through. So if you're not familiar with Stockholm syndrome, it's this story about, or like a real life event that happened where there was a bank robbery. And the hostages were held captive for like 6 days in a bank vault, like in their own filth, basically, was really the part of the story that was being highlighted for me for this story, where it's like these captives were held captive in a bank vault for 6 days. And at the end of the 6 days, like that when they were freed, they had developed this sort of like a very actually like positive attitude towards the people who had held them captive. And actually developed almost like a negative or distrusting attitude towards the police and authorities. And there's been like studies, it hasn't been officially studied in sort of like the scientific field. It's not like a defined condition in the DSM or anything like that. It's just sort of like almost like a case-based kind of thing. But anyways, it's coming through today for you, Pisces, because I feel like this is maybe something that you're seeing in another person, that it's almost like, so of course metaphorical, it's feeling like an emotional kind of connection that this person has with another, where it's like, so say this is like your partner, or say this is like a friend of yours, right? This friend or this partner has a connection to them where it's like they have almost like a Stockholm syndrome attitude, where it's like, even though they've been held captive metaphorically, or that they've been perhaps even like mistreated, or I don't know. It could be as far as like harmed in some way, or it's like that. It's that kind of energy where it's like they've been mistreated. I'm just gonna leave it generally like that. Your friend or your partner or whoever this important relationship is to you has been mistreated by somebody else in their life, but they have a Stockholm syndrome where it's like they don't see it like that. They don't see that relationship or dynamic like that, where it's like they actually might have a lot of positive emotional empathy towards the people or relationships that quote unquote held them captive, is how it's coming through. And there may also be this energy of like they may even distrust people who want to help them get free of that situation. So I don't know how this is going to come through in the reading for you, Pisces. That's just like a message that was coming through. I feel like whatever this relationship is, or like however you're like, because it kind of feels like this is a friend of yours who's going through some sort of situation like that, where okay, it even like the part of the story that's like coming through now is that like even after they were like freed, the hostages refused to like testify against their captors, right? They didn't want to like they didn't want to say a bad word against their captors that would like cause them to receive consequences, like that kind of thing. So there may be, I don't know how this is going to relate to you. I don't know if it's affecting you directly, Pisces, but it kind of feels like there's this, so maybe frustration about like why this person does not like I don't know, like what, I don't know how I describe that. Like, why are they defending somebody who's harmed them? Like that kind of energy. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna pull cards and see what else wants to come through. Whether or not it's related to that message or not, I don't know. But we'll pull cards for you, Pisces. Okay, we're gonna start with Alchemy. So it may be also something where it's like, because it kind of feels like you, Pisces, are like on the outside of this situation. You're almost like a third party observer. You're not seeing necessarily, like you're not in the situation maybe, or maybe you're seeing it from like a distance, or like you're not immediately involved. It's like you're an onlooker. That's how it was coming through. And so, your perspective is going to be different than theirs, right? It's really coming through like that. Like maybe it's like, maybe there's a bit of frustration because you and another person have like different perspectives about a particular situation that this person is in. And it's like, I don't know. Again, Pisces, feel free to flip it if that's not resonating for you. So just take it how it resonates. Okay, I'm gonna pull cards. The Raven's Head. This card talks about a call. A call to action is usually how I see it. It's also something where like you can't go back from it once you are, once you answer the call. Not this deck. That card hasn't come out in a while. Initiation, the ordeal, the work begins. It arrives to mark the beginning of the work. This card indicates something has occurred, known or unknown, to initiate the spinning of the alchemical wheel. With its mighty churning, things are about to change on every level. The raven's work cannot be undone, just as the pill cannot be unswallowed, or the pearl turned back to sand. You may be overwhelmed or think the journey ahead is not for you. Your doubts matter not to the raven, as its appearance signifies it has chosen you. You are ready, and the moment is now. Can you go back to the way things were? Can you pretend nothing has changed? The raven caws a clear no. It does not apologize, as it knows your destiny is great. Yeah. Be on the lookout for a new teacher or mentor is how that card is coming through. Anyways, regardless of whether or not this situation has anything to do with your reading today, you're being called to embark upon some sort of new journey, Pisces, and you can't go back from it. I feel like maybe you're beginning some sort of like new karmic lesson is the phrase that I'm going to use, but don't be afraid of the word karmic in this case. It's just coming through as like something that you're meant to learn, Pisces. Something that you were meant to learn. So this is coming through as being sort of like a destined path. There are lessons here for you to learn, and it will be transformative. You cannot go back from this. Okay, I'm going to pull another card. Resin. And silver coming out underneath that. Okay. Peacock's tail at the bottom of the deck. The resin card talks about transparency. It talks about stability and the bond. Again, there's like a very strong emotional bond that's coming through. Holding, adhering, and surrounding. For centuries, sculptors and archivists have used it to capture an object in time and place, preserving it for observation or adoration. Envision a delicate insect or flower suspended in a paperweight, such as the alchemical energy of resin. Its qualities are protective, sealing, and hardening. When this card appears, there is a holding that's occurring, either literally or psychically. While well-intended, someone may be limiting the one they wish to protect. There may be an aspect of nostalgia at work in the laboratory, an unwillingness to let go or change. On the other hand, the resin card can indicate a preservation of that which is most valued, a return to what's been lost. The bond. It indicates the cards that appear are bonded together, and likely you're witnessing an old pairing or pattern. Okay, so you have Silver and Raven's Head coming in, that those are bonded together in some way. The Silver card is the element that represents the moon. It talks about like having to polish your mirror. Sorry, there's something about mirrors that was also coming through. Oh. Mirror neurons. Like, there's something about empathy that's really coming through here for you, Pisces. It could be a bond that is formed through empathy. You have the Peacock's Tail at the bottom of the deck, which talks about full vision, being able to see sort of like both ends of the spectrum, that there's like magic and clarity that comes from incorporating both sides of a situation. Okay, so maybe there's something here about like maybe you're seeing something, maybe you are seeing something as an outsider to somebody else's perspective. It feels very strongly like a friend or a partner, like someone that you know very well, where it's like you're looking at their situation and you're seeing them as being like held captive by something that maybe you think is not in their best interest, right? Or it's like it's not good for them. They shouldn't be there. It's not maybe you're seeing it as like this person is being held captive by something that they shouldn't be, or that they're in a situation where it's not good for them. But I don't think that they see it like that, Pisces. That's how it's coming through. They don't see this bond as a negative thing for whatever reason. It's like maybe they're I don't know. It's almost like they would defend this situation as being like they would defend it, right? That like if they were asked to testify against this person, they would not testify against them. That's how it's coming through. I don't know. And I don't know with the Peacock's Tail, I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know if there is one. The Silver card, so it talks about lunar, reflective, and chrome. Amidst its upper echelon status, Silver shines eternally in second position. It is the lesser sibling, the one that's not quite there yet. A true alchemist does not resist this truth, but rather studies its subtle implications and its wisdom. Silver requires polishing, or the surface tarnishes over time. Mirrors require cleaning, or the image clouds and distorts. Whereas gold sustains its own malleable radiance, silver asks for our participation. We must work at it. Don't give up now. Silver wants to build relationships. Like the moon, a mirror, or a poem, let it reflect an image back. With an open heart and one more moment of willingness, the seemingly cold, stark surface of silver opens into the imaginal realm. What is there? Your own vastness? The mysteries that beckon you on moonlight moonlit nights, though through our daily devotion to silver, we find the truest gold. Okay. Okay, interesting. Silver is known as the metal of the moon, and the brain is known as the silver organ. Therefore, meditation is key to unlocking this metal's secrets. Okay. This is a very interesting reading, Pisces. Okay, because I was getting something like empathy. How we experience empathy in like monkeys, for example, they found neurons in the brain called mirror neurons, right? They are things like neurons that get activated. Like if one monkey goes through pain, right? If one monkey is actually experiencing pain, another monkey who is witnessing the pain, they get sort of flashes of mirror neurons. So even though they are not experiencing the pain themselves, their brain acts as if they are experiencing that pain themselves, right? That's what empathy is caused by, like in your brain. And there's something interesting about that where it feels like you are witnessing somebody. Pisces, it feels like that. You're on the outside of this experience. You're on the outside of somebody else's experience, and what you're seeing, what you are maybe feeling about that person's experience is that they're going through something painful. They're going through something like suffering. They're being held hostage by something. But what's interesting here is that the message that's coming through for you, Pisces, is that that's not how they see it. I don't know what's the right answer. It feel with the peacock's tail, it's kind of coming through as being like there's no right or wrong here. It's just how it's coming through. And there's something here about the silver, which I feel like is something about like maybe an image has been distorted in some way. I don't know if it's like the way that you're seeing this person, maybe there's a distorted image there or something like that. Or it could be that you and this person have very different perspectives about whatever their situation is, because they are not seeing it as being something of suffering. It actually feels like they are... I wouldn't go as far to say as enjoying it, but there's something about like there's something about like Beauty and the Beast, because I know that fairy tale of all fairy tales gets compared to Stockholm Syndrome, right? Where she develops positive emotions for the person who held her captive, right? There's a really interesting and almost like fine line kind of energy coming through here, Pisces, where it's like, I don't know, maybe you are right, but there's something here about the bond here, where it does come in with this energy of holding or adhering. But there's also something about the resin card that always sticks out to me, is that like sometimes when you try and protect something, even though that's well-intentioned, it may do more harm than good, right? So there's something about that, like, so maybe this is somebody that you're protective of. Maybe this is somebody that you're very protective of, and so it's kind of like you don't want them to you don't want them to suffer, you don't want them to be experiencing any sort of pain. You know, you want them to be free in whatever way that is, but I don't know if they see it that way. That's just how it's coming through. They may not see it the same way that you do. And I don't know if you can really know how it is that person is feeling if you are not in their situation exactly. Like, even if you were in that person's shoes, there would still be a difference in how you process things, difference in experience, difference in like, difference in the way that you interpret particular stimuli, I don't know, in your brain that would be like this person. I feel like whoever this person is to you, I don't know who it is, but the way it kind of actually feels like to them, they actually feel quite safe is how it's coming through. There's one interesting line that like, in that story, in the Stockholm Syndrome events where, the captives, the hostages, actually thought that the police were mishandling the situation, and one of the hostages actually like put themselves in harm's way to protect the captive, or the captor, the one that was holding them hostage. They actually tried to like put themselves in harm's way to protect the captor from the police, which is really interesting to me. There's something like that. Maybe it's like really, I don't know. There's something distorted about the way that a situation is being interpreted. There's something distorted about the way the situation is being interpreted. And for you, Pisces, it may be coming out with the silver card of like, are you seeing this situation the way that this person is? Because it seems like there's disharmony about that. They're not seeing it the same way as you. They may actually feel quite safe in whatever situation that they're in that you view as being dangerous to them or harmful to them or not good for them. In their eyes, they're perfectly safe. That's how it comes through. I don't know. This is such an interesting reading, Pisces. Dragonfly. Okay. Yeah. It's really coming through with like your mind space today. You have the swan at the bottom of the deck because the dragonfly represents the mind, but it also talks about like the master of illusions. 1 second. Okay, master of light, illusion, and the mind. Okay. When the dragonfly card appears, it's worth considering the quality of your mind and perception. Are they restless or still, dreamlike or crystal clear? The situation at hand may be different than it appears at first glance. The dragonfly reminds us to calm the mind so that the light of wisdom can shine through. Yeah. Okay, so that's your focus right now. You have the swan at the bottom of the deck. I feel like there's something about like reflection, right? Especially with the silver card and the moon coming out and like the mirror neurons, right? Like your mind is really significant here. Like there's something about it's coming through with like pain or suffering. Maybe there's a little bit of projection happening, Pisces. Maybe with rejection as well. Reflection. Maybe there's rejection happening in this dynamic in some way. Or maybe this person is like rejecting what it is that you are projecting onto them. Could be that as well. Again, Pisces, flip it if it's not resonating. Maybe someone's projecting onto you and you're rejecting that. It's something like that. I don't know. There's a bit of, because the resin card is coming out, this does feel kind of like a pattern. A pattern of, the silver energy, but I feel like, maybe there's something about that that's changing. Especially with the peacock's tail, right? Like that at the bottom of the deck. I keep getting this download, or like a specific name keeps coming through, the name Anne. I don't know. I don't know if you know someone named Anne or something like that. Okay. Yeah, okay. So the peacock's tail is a sacred image in alchemy. The mesmerizing display of tail feathers opens to mark the alchemist having shifted from single to multi-perspective. This is a great achievement. The alchemist has opened 1,000 set of eyes instead of one. They've discarded black and white thinking and allowed the full spectrum of colors, nuances, and solutions to come into the fold. Creative solutions to complex social and political polarities can be found in this sacred space. The force field of possibilities has opened, and the alchemist has entered a new paradigm belonging to multiplicity, dimensionality, and inclusion. Utilize this perspective for positive change while it lasts. When falling back into black and white thinking, envision the splendor of the peacock's tail. Each feather contains a shimmering universe of possibility. Yeah. I feel like there's something here about like seeing something from a different perspective is just how it's coming through. And it feels like maybe you're seeing a situation or you're being asked to see something from somebody else's situation, but not necessarily your first immediate black and white sort of pattern is how it's coming through. Because I feel like what's really coming through strongly in this situation, Pisces, is that whoever it is that you're connected to that you're seeing as being in a situation where they're experiencing pain or hardship or suffering, they're not. They are not, is how it's coming through. They're not, that's not how they're feeling at all. It's very interesting. Can I get a card for this person, the other person's energy? Oh my gosh, okay. Hold on. That's way too many. I'm going to put them back and pull another one. That's a lot. Okay. Can I get a card for the other person's energy? It's wanting to come through with an example. Like, for example, there's someone in my life who is, like, afraid of dogs. She had, like, a very negative experience with, like, big dogs when she was a child. So she has a fear of dogs. And me, of course, I don't share that same fear. Because anyways, doesn't matter. I don't have that same fear. I'm not afraid of dogs or big dogs, especially, even though my dog is quite small. But it's kind of coming through like that. Like I'm, as a metaphor, Pisces, again, flip it if it's not resonating for you, where it's like maybe you have a metaphorical fear of dogs, right? So it's like you see this person and there's a dog beside them, a really big, scary dog. And it's like, I need to help that person because they're surrounded by this big, scary dog. And, like, they could be in danger. And, like, you know, it's not good for them. Bad dog, or, like, big dogs are scary and bad. And it can hurt them or harm them or it can turn on them in any second. Like, that kind of energy. And it's like, that is not how they're feeling at all, right? They actually feel safer. Like, it's kind of coming through like that. Pisces, that's as an example. So I don't know what the situation for you, it could be in reverse. Again, just keep that in mind, but this is how it's coming through. So it's kind of the reason why silver is coming out here is that, like, what is it that you are seeing reflected back to you? Because it's kind of feeling like this might be a pattern that's not benefiting anybody in the relationship, where it's like maybe you are telling this person, oh, they have a big scary dog beside them, and it's like they know that they are aware of this, And that's not how they feel about dogs. I hope that makes sense as an example. Okay. Yeah, the starting over. The snake in the fern. That's this person's energy. This person is starting over. New opportunities at the bottom of the deck. It's very interesting. So whatever this person is going through is that they have a new beginning. They have a new beginning, which is interesting. It's very positive. That's what I'm saying, that there's like, I feel like there's like a misinterpretation or a distortion about something that's negative versus positive. Maybe you're seeing it in a negative light, Pisces. You see this beginning as being something negative for them, when for them it's a new opportunity. It's feeling very positive, actually. So just keep that in mind. Again, flip it if it's not resonating for you. So I'm going to pull a card for the dragonfly. Yeah. Okay. This Fire, Wildfire, Moon. That is a card about temper. When you're angry, you're not seeing clearly. You're not thinking clearly. So there may be something here about, like, because again, where it doesn't have to be anger, but again, with that example of like, someone I know who like is afraid of big dogs in particular, because it says here, when your temper is triggered and the flames of emotion erupt in a sea of fiery rage, you, my love, are not in the present moment. These emotional flames are being stoked by past experiences that you are holding on to and projecting onto your now. It is time to let go of the past. These old traumas are bringing you down and blinding you to the seasonal changes that have occurred. You do not have to allow these negative emotions to wreak havoc upon your life. You do not have to continue to burden yourself with their weight and their memories and their scars. Let go of the pieces of your past that are no longer serving you. Let go of these old wounds. Be present and create new emotions from the present. Emotions that serve you and uplift you and add positive vibrations to the collective. Yeah. Okay. Because I'm going to keep using that example just because it's there. Let's say you were afraid of big dogs, right? So every time, and like, let's say your friend has a big dog. So it's like every time you go over to their house, it's like you get triggered. You get triggered by their big dog because it's like, you know, it's coming from it feels kind of like something where it's like an old pattern, right? Could be fear, it could be pain, it could be hurt. It could be any one of those kinds of energies that are not serving you anymore. And it's like every time you go over to your friend's house, you get triggered by their dog. And so it's like, maybe there's this energy. Okay, so if this is in reverse, keep that in mind. It's like every time you go over to their house, you're saying you should get rid of your dog. That dog is going to turn on you. That dog is going to bite you in your sleep and hurt you and all that. And this person is saying, what are you talking about? Right? This is my dog. Like, this is like my pet. I love this dog. Like, it's like this dog would never hurt me. But from your perspective, Pisces, you're saying that dog is dangerous. It's going to turn on you any second because of your past experience of this dog, of a dog causing you harm. That's how it's coming through. So flip this if it's not resonating for you, Pisces. Maybe you are the one with the big dog, and somebody, like one of your friends, every time they come over is telling you, you need to get rid of this dog. It's not good for you. They're holding you captive. Like, it's that kind of energy. And it's like, there's a distorted image happening here that is not good for anybody in the relationship, is how it's coming through. And I feel like there's something here, like, that's wanting to be polished up, right? Not all big dogs are bad. Not all big dogs are gonna cause harm. In fact, most of them do not, actually, is how it's coming through. So it's kind of feeling like that, Pisces. I don't know who you are in this dynamic. It doesn't feel like this, but it may even be two different aspects of yourself that are sort of fighting one another, but it doesn't, I don't know, maybe it is. Who knows? Land, Cave, Sun. This card talks about, the illusions. Illusions are coming through very strongly. Okay. But you are entering a time of illumination. Light pierces the deepest, darkest caverns of your vessel, shining the glow of truth upon areas of your life that once eluded you. There are fewer places for falsehood to hide, and you are able to see clearer than you had previously been able to. Many illusions have been brought to light. There are still plenty more to demystify, but the task will be easier now that your sight has been sharpened. While the heat and intensity of this light can bring uneasiness, take comfort in the clarity you are gathering and in the quantum leaps you are making in your quest for self-knowledge. Enjoy the gift of this light. It marks a triumph in your soul's journey. Okay, so you are overcoming something here, because I feel like the silver card is here to be like, you're almost there, Pisces. Like, I always see that with this card, because it's like this moon is just missing that little bit where it's like you're almost there. Especially with the Raven's head coming out as being like a call that you're on like the brink of some sort of like transformation or something like that, where it's it could be something like overcoming a fear of big dogs, metaphorically, like something like that, where it's like maybe you are overcoming like a fear of some sort, right? It's like your friend is saying, my dog would never hurt you. That kind of thing. Like, my dog is never going to hurt you. He's like the most gentle dog ever. Wouldn't hurt a fly. Like, whatever this past experience is that's triggering you, that is not what's happening here. So I feel like that's something where it's like maybe you're working through that, Pisces, where it's like, you're working through past trigger, whatever the energy is that you're working through. It's like something about the mind that needs to be like mastered or tuned or focused. Because it's kind of something like it could be something where it's like if you find yourself thinking certain thoughts that feel kind of anxious or like fearful or like triggered in some way, it's like really polishing up those thinking patterns is how it's coming through, because that is not what's happening here. It's really stressing that whatever trigger it is you think is happening is not happening here. Because it's like this dog is not going to harm whatever. That's how it's feeling to me. It's not going to happen like that. Okay, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm being overly repetitive now, so okay. Okay, I love this card. I love this card so much. Land, Flower, Star. Because I actually feel... Okay, so this might be what you're moving into. This is coming out underneath the snake and starting over. So it could be that there is a new beginning in this relationship as well. Especially if it's been like a relationship where there has been... like you weren't seeing eye to eye with this person. Perhaps because of a particular situation. I'm kind of getting something like if this is like your child, for example, and they have like a boyfriend who you think is like, you know, you have a negative association with their boyfriend or something like that. And it's like, just being aware of if you're projecting fear, and if this is in reverse, just being aware if somebody else is projecting fear. Okay, but this is a really positive card with the starting over. It says, the soul of spring has come for you. It doesn't matter what the calendar says. Your life is in bloom. Celebrate. Just as the flowers awaken to the warmth of the sun's proximity, so too is your heart blossoming now. This is an expansive moment in your earth walk. There's mirth and a lightness emanating from your spirit that is drawing others near. They sense your majesty and are drawn to the fragrant energy you are giving off. There's nothing you can do to hide your radiance, so allow yourself to bask in the attention and enjoy it. You are blooming. Let people smell your petals and admire your blossoms. You are an inspiration to so many in this moment. So there could also be something here about, like, if it's not that particular situation, right? It could be anything where it's like there's some sort of pattern that has to do with something that feels like a trigger. There's some sort of pattern that feels like a trigger. Feels like it's like, but it feels very much like in the mind, like how you're thinking about a certain situation is not serving you. And so it's kind of like there's this sort of energy of like starting over, starting fresh. You're in the season of spring is how it's coming through, Pisces. So it's kind of like you have to start again in something, but it feels like a very positive starting again, because it's like you're freeing yourself from a misperception that was harming you. Like it's kind of something like, again, with that dog example, where it's like if you had this pattern of like fearful of big dogs, you would never actually get to know a big dog, right? Like that kind of thing. And I feel like the new beginning might be something like that, where it's like, I don't know, it might be too far to say that you would end up getting a big dog as a pet, but it could be something like that. Or it's like there's a new beginning in this dynamic where now you can go to your friend's house and visit them because you're no longer afraid of their dog, right? Like it's kind of coming through like that. But if you never do work through that pattern or that fear, then that relationship sort of like breaks down or falls apart, because there's no shared understanding is how it's coming through, or compassion or that kind of thing. Anyways, Pisces, I know this is not an easy message. That's just what's coming through. So I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.